Do you think airline tickets are too expensive? Well, there's an investigation to find out why, and South Africa is about to get a very expensive film set. But before I get into that, ladies and gentlemen, please leave a like on this video, share it far and wide, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Alright, let's get into it.
When people zone
have our smallanyana skeletons.
Did I hear that correctly? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Newsflash. I'm your host, Joe Emilio. Thanks for tuning in. High airline ticket prices in South Africa to be investigated. The Competition Commission plans to conduct a market inquiry into carriers like FlySafair and CemAir for exorbitant flight prices. Parliament's Trade, Industry and Competition Committee chairperson explained why a Competition Commission inquiry into this matter may be necessary. He explained that some budget airlines initially entered the market as low-cost carriers, displacing South African Airways. However, when issues arose, they transitioned into commercial airlines and their prices became exorbitant. He's quoted as saying, "They are not affordable to our people, so we will need to do a market inquiry to ensure that there is fairness and our people can move from province to province and elsewhere." When asked which airlines he was referring to, Masina identified airlines like FlySafair, CemAir, and others that were introduced as budget carriers similar to Mango. He said these airlines initially positioned themselves as budget options but have evolved. For example, Airlink, which has operated as regional airline for over 30 years, also expanded into mainstream routes following SAA's challenges.
Is he serious?
Yeah, Airlink had to step in because South African Airlines was bankrupt and falling apart. And yes, it is true that airline tickets have become very expensive these days. I mean, there was a time when you could buy a bottle of beer for like 8 Rand. Now, some brands are over 20 Rand. Do we need the Competition Commission to step in and make beer prices lower? I mean, I don't mean to give them ideas. Now the Competition Commission is getting involved where it shouldn't be. Because there's no need for them. I can give you one word that will probably solve the issue of high ticket prices, and that's tax. Think about it. There's a lot of tax on petrol. We all know this. Nearly 50% of the price of petrol per liter is taxed. So imagine you just cut that away by half, or even 40%. Fine, government wants a little bit, let them have a little bit. 40%. Imagine the difference that would make. And in typical communist fashion, they want the airlines to change their prices so that our people can afford them. Who exactly is our people?
What do you mean, you people?
Like, do you mean previously disadvantaged? Do you mean South Africans in general? Or do you mean poor people? And if you mean poor people, well, that's a whole nother can of worms as to why poor people in South Africa cannot afford an airline ticket. Why don't you focus more on creating an environment that encourages economic growth rather than hamper it? Because with economic growth comes more jobs, and with more jobs means more people can afford things. And when more people can afford things, well, then you don't necessarily have to lower the ticket prices. They'll either lower themselves or people will just be able to afford them. Look, I know I'm simplifying this heavily because there's a lot of different kinds of issues here. But my point here is this, is that the government is once again trying to put a band-aid on something that requires surgery. And what if you do manage to get the airlines to cut their prices even by 25%? You know who will suffer? The employees of the airlines. They will probably get a salary cut, and then some people may not want to be pilots or air hostesses. The service goes down, maintenance may not happen as often as it should, which could result in more crashes or just dirty airplanes. It's unfair to dictate prices because services and parts still cost money. It's like telling a pizzeria to only charge 10 Rand for all their pizzas, but the prices of the ingredients don't change, so they eat into your profits, or you operate at a loss, and eventually your business will die. Commies just hate successful businesses, unless of course they own the business, in which case it's corrupt. Just another example of the government of South Africa making it very difficult for businesses to grow and be successful in South Africa, unless of course you bend to their will. And then people wonder why there's no jobs in South Africa and the unemployment rate is so high. And in other news, Cape Town to see construction of 900 million rand film set. The city of Cape Town has announced the approval of a lease agreement for part of a city-owned property in Paardevlei, Somerset West, which will see the construction of a 900 million rand film set by Cape Point Film Studios. Cape Point Film Studios says it aims to convert the existing buildings on the site into a functional film studio facility that will meet international standards. Once the development is completed and operating successfully, the company plans to also develop a sea and underwater soundstage production precinct. This lease carries the potential to create hundreds of jobs, generate almost 1 billion rand in local economy, and boost tourism in Cape Town. See, now here's an example of meaningful investment and job creation in the country. With Cape Town's Economic Growth Directorate finalizing this lease, we can further invest in Cape Town as a must-visit destination. This project will not only enhance Cape Town's status as a leading creative hub, but also solidify its position as a destination of choice for homegrown and global productions. Bravo! And this is like super exciting, especially for someone like me who's part of the entertainment industry. I cannot wait to see this film set come to light. I mean, just the other day I was driving by the old Cape Town Film Studios and wondering what has happened with that place. I mean, I'm sure it's still operational, but I don't think it's been updated in years, and this is definitely sorely needed. So I'm very glad to see that Cape Town is going to make a bit of investment in the entertainment business, and I cannot wait to see how it looks by the end. And that underwater sea studio that they're building, that's also really awesome. So hopefully some more money and investment will be injected into Cape Town's economy. Let's just hope that the greedy commies don't get their hands on it. South Africa really does have really talented entertainers, and it's great to give them an opportunity to showcase that talent. But let me know what you think about these stories in the comment section below, and while you're down there, leave a like on this video, share it far and wide, and subscribe to the channel. I've got more content coming your way, and with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Your newsflash is in.
I want you to put this on and teach me a lesson.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. You know that E that you're on all the time? That means empty. This is how to make it not empty.
This is not what I had in mind.